making sure you're all right.
Do you really care? Yeah, give me an honest answer. Do you really care whether you think I'm okay?
I actually really do care. Become pretty sociable out here tonight and answered lots of questions. I've been pretty cool, so yeah, I do care. Sorry, Rich, I was keying up. Yes, I do care.
Yeah, 4 hours and 1 minute.
That's wonderful, huh?
No, it's not.
Well, no, it has been.
Well, the alarm clock goes off in 4 hours and 1 minute.
What happens at 4 hours and 1 minute? Does the clock go off and Eldon fall asleep?
No, 4 hours and 1 minute. I gotta get my ass out of bed.
Oh, that's not good. What do you do for a living?
I do a living. I have to make a living.
You go out and milk the cows and take care of the sheep?
No.
You go out and program a bunch of computers at 3 o'clock in the morning?
No, keep trying.
You go out and drive truck and deliver hay until noon?
No.
You go to the local restaurant and flip burgers and make lunch for people?
No.
Yeah, you go to the laundromat and fold laundry for people?
Good God, no.
Well, what is it you do?
Why do you really care?
Because I care about you.
Work with me.
We've developed this bond.
You do not care about no one.
I care about a lot of people. I care about Eldon. I'm just trying to, make sure he's good. So I do care. You're a computer tech at the local radio shop. You bale hay in the field. You're a caddy at a pro golf course. He's a caddy? I'm just probing, yeah. I guess it makes sense. Yeah, you're a septic tank cleaner there, Eldon. Oh, he's the honey dipper. Yep. I think he went away. I think you scared him.
Who, me?
You or me? What? I don't know, man. I think you scared him. Eldon. 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 He's gone.
Nobody cares.
What do you want Elgin for? What do you need Elgin for?
Roger, roger.
Sounds like you guys just want to intimidate him.
Your number? Again? Again?
Do a little Google search. FBI indictment versus eBay. You might find that interesting.
Nobody cares.
Fourteen people indicted by the FBI at eBay. Cyber stalking, cyber harassment, doxing, harassment on the state level.
Washington, Quebec, 6X-ray. 6.
What, no classifieds out here?
Nobody cares. Nobody
Sounds like CB radio.
Michael, good buddy.
Yeah, sound like you're singling him out for special attention. FBI versus eBay. Indictments handed out in June. Biden is going to be your next president.
Nobody cares. 287 piece of nice of fucking asshole.
Scott Paulson for president. Donald Trump is going to prison.
287 piece of nice of fucking asshole. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Roger, roger. Your number? Again?
Biden is going to be your next president.
287 piece of nice of fucking asshole.
Joe Biden is going to be your next president.
guy's a fucking asshole.
To Monday.
And really hamstrung it, you know. Instead of dropping the packet, have it send back Yeah, I think we're getting into the notch, Raymond. You're down in the weeds. Am I pretty weak on your side? Oh, yeah. I can tell we got to go into the transition here. That's all right. So you can put over to Yeah, give it a couple minutes. I'm still copying you, but it's pretty rough. Let's give it a couple minutes. I'll be around AA 5 kg.
or a sunburn, anyone can get cancer, and the chances of getting cancer increase with age. In fact, about 77% of all cancers are diagnosed from the
It's the first time that America and reliability. Sawtooth Technology is dedicated to offering state-of-the-art technology solutions for business.
Continue to fight for lower taxes at all levels.
Please vote to re-elect Senator Jim Wright.
Financial advisor, whether it's an insurance license or the securities license, or maybe you've heard me talk about Delaware Statutory Trust. That's another one. You can't buy it on your own. So with financial planning, sometimes you do not need a financial planner, but sometimes you absolutely do.
And that was Growing Your Wealth with Brian Evans. Madrona Finance is fully bonded, insured, and professionally
SawtoothTechnology.com. Take time now. Go to SawtoothTechnology.com. That's SawtoothTechnology.com.
Nate Tillman here for Advanced Heating and Cooling, and you don't stay in business in the Treasure Valley since 1982 unless you're doing quality work at a great price. Advanced Heating and Cooling has 3 principles that are their mantra: virtue, intelligence, and value. You might know it as VIV. Once again, that's virtue, intelligence, and value. That's what they stand for. Give Advanced Heating and Cooling a call, 208-336-2665, or check them out online at advancedheatingandcooling.com.
Nestled in Sweet, Idaho, is a custom butchery and fine dining restaurant called Anderson Reserve. All their meat is dry-aged USDA Prime. This holiday season, make your celebration extra delicious by adding a dry-aged USDA Prime rib to the table. You can even have it shipped to your home or give a butcher block as a gift to the meat lovers in your family. Free shipping on orders over $100. Shop online at AndersonReserve.com or give your visiting family a true Idaho experience. Take them to Anderson Reserve for a holiday dinner.
Hi, Tom Scott for BBSI Boise. They say being a business owner is the loneliest job in the world right now. BBSI Boise believes it doesn't have to be. BBSI is a PEO, a perfect...
Does anybody... Roger. Yeah, boy, damn. Absolutely nobody. Absolutely nobody cares. Roger. Call sign again. Your call sign again. Nobody cares. Roger. Nobody cares. Roger.
Whiskey Quebec 6 X-ray. Whiskey Quebec 6 X-ray. Whiskey Quebec 6 X-ray. Nobody cares. Again. Your number, again. Your call sign, again. Nobody cares. Roger. W7EIB. Your call sign, again. Roger. Nobody cares. Roger. Your call sign, again. Roger. Really cool, right in there. That's good. Nothing jump into That's good. Really cool. That's good. Nothing guys. Bring it right in there. Well, kind of looking that way, I tell you. Well, there you go. They're talking on the TV. Oh, boy, big time shit, they're talking. Good God, that's all you got? Yep. Go ahead. Play it again. I just want to know, is it live or is it Memorex? Well, go ahead. Play a little different tune, would you? Go ahead. Sounds like a little bit of harmonica. Go ahead. Well, there you go. Is it live or is it Memorex? Oh, that sounds like that's live. Hey, very good. Play us a big long tune. Go ahead.
With a good man and the walking back side. They're all the best. So Brady can do what he wants to.
We fish fry at the wharf of retreat. Proved to be the last meal that they'd ever eat. In Denmark and his little mom were all three.
Well, I can tell you, just what we didn't want to hear was the Diamond Springs asshole trash. Yeah, nobody does. Absolutely. Yeah, we have got all that figured out. Absolutely, nobody does. Yeah. Okay, give it up. We did it.
Damn Warhawk. My call sign is W6DLC.
There you go. I need to get one of those. I don't know if I'll be able to order it and get it here in time. I do want one of those so I can have both of these things powered up, which is plugging it over from one to the other. Because I got enough cord to stick it to where it needs to go, for the most part. But the cord for the invaders are not real long. So I know I'm going to need that T-splitting just to have them together, and then I'll run the extension cord over, because the extension cord's long enough to go over there to touch those. And then, I'm more going to use it for the Henry when the Henry's in line, and obviously have to unplug it for the other ones. Because I'm not going to invest any money in running a 220 in this house until I get to the point where I actually can buy it, and then I'll get crazy with stuff.
I mean, we can always put the 500 on 120 volts. It's no problem. It will definitely run on the 120. So all we got to do is just hook up the cord and put a different end on it. But I'll have to look up the name of the company that I bought those Y adapters. But I think they're called L620Ps. They're 20 amp Ys, and I bought them from some company online that specializes in computer data centers, and they had them. They were actually fairly cheap, and they're very, very high quality. They're all molded, very heavy gauge cable and everything. So I'll have to get online and try to figure out where that is. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, whatever. No, it's staying at 220. The quarter reach. I'm not worried about it. I just don't want to have to disturb the cables coming out of the power supplies ever. So once the cords are hooked up to the wire.
Oh, here's David, East Carolina.
It's one of them nights. Have a good evening. Be careful. Thank you.
All right, very good, Lee. Yeah, the band's.
You guys are doing a great job with the 100th anniversary out there, and want to thank you all for doing that. That's actually I work in broadcast here as well. Television. We still make notes and where everything began. But yeah, we'll be following up and trying to work a few more stations before we can handle this. I was really pleased that I was able to work on the actual 100th anniversary. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, back to you, Bob. W8XK K0PHP. Yeah, very good. It was actually a 160 sideband contact, and again, he was throwing a 20 over S9 into Missouri.
Exposed, the two leaders sat down in Hell's Kitchen, eating a heartbreaker. It's this dramatic event being planned and perpetuated even while they talk, and I wonder what's going to be the result of this. Well, because the two Russian diplomats approached him Thursday as his client waited to plead. ¿Cómo te van a desesperar?
Roger West, copy the 5757. I'll give you a 5959 North Central Arkansas. Over. Kilo Fox, 5 Fox, line number 11. Kilo Foxtrot, 5 Foxtrot, and line number 11. Roger, sir. Thank you for being there. Kilo Fox, 5 Fox. Back to net, Mike, and check me out.
And then like an RCA cable or something.
2 mile an hour wind, which is nothing up here, and 25% humidity. We had a very, very nice day here today. Got up in the 70s. Situation 1, KD0 RSA. Back to that, over.
All right, Mo, thanks for that. Yeah, it sounds like a nice day. We had a pretty good one here in Missouri, too. They're going to have the rest of the week supposed to be fairly nice here in the...
It sounds better with the cap and the resistor, but if not, you can go right off that line out.
Well, I'm looking at an RCA cable.
He's going to give a call for us. Don't give a call for us. Give you a call.
He ain't got a call sign. It's asshole. I talked to him before.
Well, if he is a call sign, he can still kiss mine.
Oh, he can't mind his with that crap. What's your call sign? KD9 MBI.
KD9 MBI. Well, everybody wants to have I don't lie like a lot of people do. Well, you need to lie your damn radio or amplifier and antenna, and then you can talk.
My call sign is W6DOP.
battleground states. The economy resonates the most in Texas. 38% of voters list that as their most important issue, and they break resoundingly for President Trump. 56-41 think he's best positioned to handle the economy in Texas, especially when you compare that nationwide to the 49-49 split that we saw in the national early exit poll. Something else to keep an eye on, of course, Texas, the Hispanic, Latino population. Hillary Clinton did very well here 4 years ago, 61-34. She carried Latino voters in Texas. We've talked a lot about Joe Biden and how he's doing or not doing among those groups in Florida, but certainly something to keep an eye on for Texas. And also, as this late push in turning Texas into a battleground played out, you wonder, did that drive more people to the polls from both parties? Because 4 years ago, 9% more Republicans than Democrats in exit polls in Texas. That dropped to 4% in the big midterm election where Democrats made gains in 2018. Back up to 9%, 9 points so far this year. Republicans over Democrats turning out to vote. So those are some things to keep in mind a few minutes from poll close in Texas.
And Brian, it's interesting that now in the last week it seems like we've been talking so much about Texas, but neither President Trump nor Joe Biden made any campaign trips there. We did see Kamala Harris stop in Texas, but it is striking that this could be such a nail-biter there when the candidates themselves weren't paying attention to it because, of course, they had bigger states that they were focused on.
Exactly, and we talk about the expense of some of these markets. It's amazing if New York or California were competitive, what that would cost these campaigns. Well, Texas, another one with some massive media markets. Of course, it's an enormous state. So it's like a Pandora's box where they don't want to get into it. But you saw with what Beto O'Rourke did in the Senate campaign that was unsuccessful against Ted Cruz, where he really galvanized it and ran close to Ted Cruz. He's been driving it for the Biden campaign in Texas, and was it enough? We'll see, but it's certainly shocking that we're sitting here on election night in 2020 talking about Texas.
And Aaron, I think that point that Brian made, the psychological factor, if you realize that your state's now a battleground, does that drive you off the sidelines and make you more compelled to vote because your vote matters more than it did 4 years ago or 8 years ago? Could be a big reason we're seeing this surge in Texas.
You're listening to live coverage from ABC News.
670 KBOI.
We're here with Mark Munson, owner of the Treasure Valley AMCO location. Mark, I know you guys do transmissions, but you also do total car care, don't you?
Yes, we do. And this time of year, what is important right now is, of course, your battery and your antifreeze. But we do all total car care, all maintenance services, brake work, front end work. Pretty much anything you need, we can help you out with.
AMCO, with 2 locations in Boise, on State Street, east of Veterans Memorial Parkway, on Fairview, west of Winco, and in Nampa, on 12th at Amity. Go ahead and say it, Mark.
AA. MCO.
Nate Shelman here for Northwest Data Recovery. How many pictures do you have saved on your phone? How many files do you have saved on your computer? And how many times does life just happen? Or things just break? Northwest Data Recovery has saved my files, saved my photos, and they might be able to do the same for you. If your phone gives out or if your computer crashes, go ahead and look up Northwest Data Recovery.
Your official election 2020 station. We are 670 KBOI, Boise.
From ABC News. I'm Daria Aldinger. The polls are now closed in more than 30 states, and at this hour, ABC News can make the following projections. The president, Indiana, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and West Virginia, going to President Trump. Delaware, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Washington, D.C., and Vermont for Democrat Joe Biden. Biden's deputy campaign chief, Kate Bedingfield, is optimistic.
We've been really encouraged by the enormous turnout that we've seen across early vote. We've seen record levels of turnout. We believe that we've really banked a lot of votes in these key states, and that it's going to be very difficult for Donald Trump to make up that difference tonight.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, says they're being patient with the results.
We're feeling good. We know that the first day of early voting really benefited the Democrats in places like North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Michigan. They had a significant advantage. If you're an anti-Trump voter, you waited 4 years to vote against him. So people came early, but they can't come often.
It may be a while before a winner is declared in the race for the White House. ABC's Ryan Clark with more on what voters are saying as they leave the polls.
Donald Trump has really staked his campaign, his presidency, on that he is the guy for the economy. But these early exit polls, and we stress early, it's a dead heat. Who would handle the economy better? 49% say President Trump, 49% say Joe Biden.
Control of the Senate also very much in play tonight. ABC News can project that Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell will be reelected. ABC's Whit Johnson says Arizona Republican Martha McSally is battling to hold on to her seat.
McSally's not alone. Maine Republican Susan Collins struggling as well after infuriating many with her vote to confirm Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court, and facing pressure being the only Republican to vote against the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett.
Also projected to win Republicans Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia and Bill Hagerty of Tennessee. You're listening to ABC News.
670 KBOI. $150,000. That's how much has been donated to over 300 Idaho schools by CapEd Credit Union members when they opened high-yield checking accounts since we launched our Get 100, Give 100 program. Which means, in addition to earning 2.5% APY on their account balances, those members also earned a collective $150,000 for themselves. CapEd High-Yield Checking. It's a win-win for you and education. How will you give your 100? APY equals annual percentage yield. Rates are accurate as of last dividend declaration date and may change after the account is open. Fees or other conditions could reduce the earnings. To receive your $100 deposit and give $100 to your selected school, district, foundation, and earn the 2.5% APY on balances up to $10,000, you must meet qualifications in any of the first 3 qualification cycles after your account is open. Limited time offer. To meet qualifications, 12 debit card transactions must post and settle the account. At least 1 direct deposit or automatic payment must post and settle this account, and you must be enrolled and agree to receive e-statement notices. Valid for members who do not have a CapEd personal checking account. Offer available on personal accounts only, insured by NCUA.
670 KBOI. A spokesperson for the Iowa Secretary of State says hand sanitizer on voters' hands caused a ballot scanner to jam at a polling place in Des Moines. The machine was fixed in about an hour. To prevent another breakdown, poll workers moved the sanitizing station further back in the line so voters' hands would be dry when they first touched the ballots. Wall Street saw an Election Day rally, the Dow up 555 points.
Investors are hopeful the uncertainty around the election is finally coming to an end. And after stocks tumbled last week, some on Wall Street are now buying the dip. The Dow gained 2% today, its second best election day ever. Some traders are also looking to former Vice President Joe Biden's lead in the polls as an indicator he could win the presidency and the Senate could go to Democrats, which might lead to a bigger economic stimulus deal. ABC News, Washington.
A cruise ship industry group says its members are extending the suspension of U.S. sailing operations through the end of the year. Just last week, the CDC lifted the no-sail order so cruises could resume, but Cruise Lines International Association says members will use the rest of the year to implement measures to address COVID-19 safety. Mask wearing could save 130,000 lives from COVID-19 between now and March. That's according to a study cited by National Institutes of Health Director Francis Collins in a new blog post. He says if mask wearing to increase to just 85%, even 96,000 lives could be saved. This is ABC News.
You can't afford to miss the big news.
Vice President sang out on the campaign trail, even though several of Mike Pence's close aides, including his chief of staff, have now tested positive for COVID-19.
And only one station covers it all.
The president's chief of staff wanted to keep the outbreak on Pence's team from becoming public. Democratic nominee Joe Biden saying the administration is waving the white flag of defeat if virus continues to rage unchecked across the country and even in the White House itself.
News Talk 70 KBOI.
Sleeping in, no alarms, no scrambling around to make breakfast and rush off to work. No little voice in your brain saying, hey, don't you think you should be getting up and cleaning the house? So just roll on over and catch a few more winks. Maid Brigade is on it. Spend more time doing what you love to do and less time cleaning. Call Maid Brigade at 685-0639. 685-0639. Maid Brigade offers weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly cleaning schedules to fit your lifestyle. Their cleaners are screened, trained, certified, and insured, so you'll feel comfortable letting them into your home. Maid Brigade's green cleaning practices and products means you can rest easy as long as you want. Consistent, caring. Call Maid Brigade at 685-0639 or see maidbrigade.com. Maid Brigade, our cleaners shine. A division of Western Building Maintenance.
Your official election 2020 station, 670 KBOI. It's live coverage from ABC News. Your voice, your vote. The 2020 presidential election.
This is the most important election in the history of our country. I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I am your president of law and order. I won't fan the flames of
a battle we will win, and we'll do it together.
From ABC News headquarters, here are correspondents Karen Travers and Aaron Kaczynski.
Good evening. A thought campaign has come to a close now in most of the country. The polls are closed in Texas, New York, Michigan, Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Colorado, Louisiana, Kansas, Nebraska, New Mexico, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Wyoming. Based on our analysis of the vote and the exit polls, ABC News projects President Trump the winner in Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. ABC News projects Joe Biden the winner in Vermont, in Massachusetts, in New Jersey, in Maryland, in his home state of Delaware, the District of Columbia, and in New York. The path to 270 right now is very, very close, and suddenly it's a path that for Joe Biden may go through Texas. We are joined from Houston by Ted Oberg with ABC News' own station KTRK. Ted, it's great to hear you, bud. What's been happening in Texas?
Well, really, two stories, Aaron. It's great to be with you. It's great to hear you. I think there are two stories tonight emerging in Texas. One is simply the fact that, at least as of right now, with 37% of votes in, Joe Biden is maybe a little bit ahead. I think anyone who has followed the Texas vote for decades would have a hard time believing that. So I'll say it again. I mean, at this point, here we are at 8:07 in local time in Houston, and Joe Biden can at least claim to be a little bit ahead. Now, most of the Election Day vote has not come in yet, and certainly as we've seen across the country, it may not hold. But to think of that, remember, Texas is not a state that's voted for a Democrat since Jimmy Carter. That's a long, long time ago, and Texas is vastly different. I think the other thing that is worth talking about in Texas is what's not happened yet. There were so many election contests up until this point, Aaron. Yesterday, we were, so many of us in federal court as a Republican activist sought to throw out 127,000 early votes that were cast at drive-through locations in and around Houston. Up until hours before polls opened, we were in court here in this city fighting over that. And so those are really, I think, the two stories, because since that, it's been quiet today. No one's talking about running to court to challenge elections. We've seen no protests. Just talked to the police chief here in the city of Houston. He's saying the city is calm. The people who were out cheering on voters, they've all gone home. I mean, look, it's a mind-blowing night in Houston for a number of reasons, buddy.
Ted, it's Karen Travers here. ABC News has projected that Senator Cornyn will win his Senate race in Texas. What does that indicate to us about what the presidential race is looking like? Anything?
Well, I think it says a couple things, I suppose, and one is that, yes, it probably looks better as the evening goes on for President Trump here. I think it also says that these are two different people, right? In Texas, there is no straight ticket voting. The legislature got rid of that in the last legislative session, and so you cannot go into the polls and simply vote every Democrat or every Republican. You're forced to split the ticket. I think one of the very interesting things, Karen, that'll be worth looking at as we see more and more is, what's that difference? How many people voted for Senator Cornyn to return him to Washington and his position of leadership, either in the majority or the minority in the Senate there, but didn't vote for President Trump? I think that will be a key story to watch here for Texas Republicans and the Texas Democratic Party as they seek to try and recruit better candidates in the future.
Ted Oberg from KTRK in Houston. It's great to have you with us, Ted, from a battleground state that we were not expecting just a few short weeks ago. Another battleground state we're watching closely is Georgia. ABC's TJ Holmes is there. TJ, what's going on?
Well, what's going on was a lot of people would argue a whole lot of nothing earlier. That sounds crazy to say on Election Day, but we had such a huge turnout here in Georgia, record-setting turnout, right? We've been talking about that number. 3.9 million people voted early, in-person and absentee ballots. That was almost the same total that voted in 2016. So people were wondering, okay, Election Day now, we're going to see another huge turnout. And we didn't see the long lines. Would you believe that the average wait time today in the C-band was 3 minutes at the polling places? So a lot of people were thinking, well, maybe there's not this huge rush of people. Maybe there's not this late break for President Trump that a lot of people thought he needed, but still the Secretary of State was expecting some 1.5 million to 2 million people to vote today, which would still be a huge number, but largely just not a lot of issues, not a lot of delays, not a lot of seen in recent history voting, including the primary, which you're very familiar with, that got so much attention for all the chaos and just being a mess. But today has gone rather smoothly.
Hey, TJ, Evers here. What parts of the state should we be looking at right now? What should we be paying attention to?
Well, right now, as I am sitting in downtown Atlanta right now, and this area, 4 counties here will give you 50% of the vote. So the state has 159 counties, but really 4 are wrapped up in so much of the vote. Now, these areas have been, for the most part, especially Fulton County, where Atlanta is, a stronghold for Democrats. Not a lot of debate necessarily about it, usually, or drama about which way it's going to go. But Fulton, but rather Cobb County and Gwinnett County. Those are 2 counties that border Fulton County, where I am in Atlanta. Those 2 counties have traditionally been strong for Republicans, but Hillary Clinton, even though she lost in 2016, she won those 2 counties, and that was the first time a Democrat had done that since Jimmy Carter, who was a son of Georgia. So a lot of eyes will be on all those votes coming in. How well can Joe Biden perform in those 2 counties in particular, and will tell us a lot. I can tell you as well, the polls closed here at 7. There were only a few that stayed open a little later, just by 20 minutes or 40 minutes or 45 minutes, because they opened a little late for various non-nefarious reasons necessarily. There was a poll worker that was late. There was even a transformer that blew and power was out somewhere. Stuff like that's been happening. And get this, guys, we just got word that there was a water main, water pipe that burst at State Farm Arena, the largest bowling place here. So that delayed things. So we're seeing random things like that, but nothing necessarily major that's going to give us a severe delay. But keep an eye on those 2 counties, Gwinnett and Cobb County. Cobb is the old Newt Gingrich territory, right? So if Republicans and Joe Biden start to actually overperform or do really well in those counties, that could be telling. So a lot of eyes on that right now.
All right, TJ Holmes with us from Atlanta. TJ, our thanks to you. About 13% of the expected vote is reporting in Gwinnett County. Joe Biden has about 63% of the vote compared to President Trump's 35%. That's a county that Hillary Clinton won by just 5 percentage points. Overall, though, President Trump is holding on to a lead in the state of Georgia with about a third of the expected vote in statewide. Let's quickly continue our tour of the battleground states. ABC's Lionel Louise with us from Florida, where the news is much better for President Trump tonight.
Yes, it is looking good for him right now. We have about 93% of the votes reported, and Trump is winning by 51% to Biden's 48%. One of the big voting constituents that people were paying close attention to was the Latino vote, specifically the Cuban American vote here in the state, the largest population of Cubans outside of that island, and Biden did not do so well with them and in campaigning in the state this time around, and that is definitely having a profound impact on how he's doing. So if you look at a county like Miami-Dade County, Biden, but he is still almost 10 points behind where Clinton was in the 2016 race. So numbers are continuously coming in, but it is looking very red if you take a close eye at the map right now. Another thing that people were paying attention to was the approval rating for President Trump. His approval rating in the state of Florida is actually higher than it is nationwide, and people here in the state in preliminary exit polls actually said that they preferred handling the coronavirus pandemic over the economy, which is another focus here. So we're going to keep a close eye on it, about 93% in.
Different focus in Florida than, say, maybe in some of the northern battleground states where the pandemic is raging and setting new records every day. Certainly something to watch. ABC's Lionel Louise for us in Florida. Stay with us. I'm Aaron Katersky. You're listening to live coverage. Your voice, your vote from ABC News.
Kenny here from Cloverdale Plumbing Company. I've been talking about water softeners lately, and it looks like you've been listening. We sure have been selling quite a few. Even customers who have off-brand water softeners have been calling just to have us come out and check theirs to see if it's working correctly. Some are, and some are not. If we can get your old softener working correctly, that's great. If not, we can get a new one installed right away. your softener's working correctly, and you're tired of hauling those heavy salt bags out of the store, working to get them in the back of your car, then out of your car and into the brine tank, you can sign up for our salt refill program. We come out 3 times a year and add salt. In one of those visits, we'll check your crawl space for plumbing problems. How long's it been since you've been in your crawl space? Let alone look down there. So when you need a plumber bad, you need him good, call or click Cloverdale Plumbing, and we'll be there.
Plumbing installation, service, and repair. Call Cloverdale Plumbing. We'll be there.
Hi, I'm Callie Zamzo, here with my friend April. And April, I hear you got a new pet. I gotta see pictures. What did you get? A puppy or a kitten? Actually, I got the cutest little philodendron, and I named him Phil. Here's a picture on my phone. Isn't he adorable?